Okay, so welcome to the third devlog here. I've made some major changes since we got in this last one, so let's open up the game. Let's go in as a union. Just, I just want to reiterate again, this is just one scenario. However, I'm adding general things to the game that could be applied to any scenario. So let's go as the union. Okay. So I made some minor state interface changes. Now it says the country owner, so you can click on a state. It'll give you the owner. I'm gonna eventually add shows cores as well. I'm just working on how to make it work with the interface. Most important though is the government. So if you remember, if two devlogs ago, I've showed this, and there was nothing here, but I added it now. So right now, the current things you can do laws. You could increase laws or decrease laws. So if we do this, it'll say policy current changing, and you can't do anything. Or you can do industrial allocation policies, and these affect monthly morale. Everything here works, by the way. And we can also do order a draft. This will give you a large percent of your population, but will take a big hit to your morale. Now, one thing I've been working on recently is also the government. So now for the union, you have here are the factions. You have the National Union Party with 80% of the power. So it tells you this faction is a democratic faction, meaning it has elections and stuff if it's in control. So it's a wartime party representing war Democrats and Republicans. So you have the National Union Party with 80% of the power. Then you have the Democratic opposition party is more lenient to Confederacy. Okay. So here are the current modifiers from our government. So we have legitimate state, 5% base morale, and battle of the brothers. So minus 10% base morale, minus 0.5 monthly morale change, minus 10% attack bonus. All this stuff works. This stuff has been working for since the first devlog I've made. It's just never had a way of displaying it. I haven't had an election screen yet, but I've had this. So now the agendas. So usually kind of like how like a decision panel, you unlock stuff. So right here, if we if you get ownership of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, essentially the whole Confederacy, we can do this, which gains us the core on it. If we're by taking Reconstruction, Conquest of Richmond, just if we get control of Virginia, we can gain 5 morale by taking this decision. I'll show this later on. Okay, Tex. Oh, this is a big one. So essentially, we have text. We could favorite text. So this is our monthly progress game. This is a static. No, not static. It's based on our our best provinces production. It's a factor based on that, and then each of these is based on the number of units you have. For administrative, it's based on how big your empire is. So the more units, yeah, this just applies to units. The more units of these you have, the bigger the factor. And so yeah, you can see the Union has a lot more infantry, but you get these big bonuses per upgrade. So this could actually, if you get a lot of these, you could completely overwhelm your opponent. I've tested this tech level 3. This battle here is a pretty bad loss. If you give the Union tech level 3 infantry to start off, it turns into a pretty big win for the Union. Yeah, I might need to nerf these techs, but again, this is just for this one scenario. You can also focus techs, which gives 50% boost for that tech and minus 50% split between other techs. And yeah, I think all this stuff works, by the way. So now we go to stats, which is just shows the summation of all the modifiers. And so for the Union, if you remember from this stuff right here, then you have 5% base morale, but minus 10% base morale. So you have a summation here of minus 5%. And you have the monthly morale change is negative 0.5. Attack modifier is negative 10%. And yeah, so this, I haven't done anything for this. It's going to be some sort of log. So let's show Conquest of Richmond over here. So, and I'm gonna go to the Confederacy after this. So, let's join some of these armies together. Oh my gosh, because these are cannons in these armies, it's gonna go so slow. Okay. I'll cut this out. Okay, let's do the attack now. The army has attrition, and this general is clearly not fit for this. His base cap is much smaller than this, but I mean, he's not a good general, anyways. Whatever. We're gonna win this battle. I have way too many men here. Yeah. Okay, so now to win this battle, what we can do is let's pause it real quick. We can do Conquest of Richmond. We could click it, and we get 5 base morale. Right? We got it? Did it work? Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to make it that it applies immediately. That's gonna be very quick, but okay. And that's essentially how it works. Just to show it off real quick, let's go in as the Confederacy, and so just show their stuff. So for their laws, they start off with a slightly stricter recruitment factor. However, their administration is slightly weaker. The administrative upgrades, their government is less efficient because and also they have a smaller tech gain. Their government is just less efficient because it literally was just founded. Um, and they have interesting modifiers. So you have the same Battle of the Brothers modifier. But you have slavery also, which is 10% production, but minus 50% recruitment. You also have rebellious fervor, which is a pretty good bonus for this country. And the interesting thing is this minus 50% recruitment as well, and this bonus actually directly cancel out, and you can see the recruitment factor is the exact same here. Um, Production factor is there. So now let's see the leading faction is the Confederates. Look, obviously there's no actual factions in the Confederacy. It's to some extent, so you have just relative groups like this, but again, it's just this one scenario. Democrats, you have the Confederates, who are the main branch, but political branch, 70% of the power. You have the Radicals, and then you have the Moderates. And here you have their bonus. So you can see I coded in that you could have dates as triggers. So this one requires ownership of essentially all your own starting states and requires date beyond 1862.1.1. So the first after if you survive past New Year's Eve on 1861, you are able to do it. I think that's generally it. This is again was a pretty massive update. Next thing I'm going to do is probably going to add a few more agendas. Essentially, just add more triggers and modifiers to be possible. Again, this is a game engine, so this scenario is just one of probably many. So when I'm going to be adding the next scenario, which is going to be the Great War scenario, I'm going to need to add a lot more stuff for flexibility and just so you could add more stuff just generally. Um, yeah, I'm gonna probably be adding the election screen. This is what this is. You could probably force elections, and you could probably favor one side so that you can build up the power of these other factions. Um, And yeah, I think that's it. The military panel is just gonna have generals. You'll be able to recruit generals. You'll be able to see your max, your army size, your army equipment, your modifiers for every unit, stuff like that. I think that's it for now, though.